Hi.
Hey.
Live. Well, slowly but surely.
Oh fuck.
Take two.
Yeah.
Oh, the Facebook, it's not.
Responding. We have a little, Facebook issue. Luckily, Instagram is very user-friendly.
So it's Facebook Live, is that what you do usually?
Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Instagram.
Okay.
So it
Wasn't
all
there
goes
this one
out
app
immediately.
a few years ago? I think it was called Periscope or...
Periscope?
I think that was the name. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Maybe it was something else, which was like the first like live streaming app, at least that I remember. 2012, or might be off by a couple of years.
Yeah.
But, maybe Facebook bought them or something. I have no idea.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, is there something that Facebook didn't buy?
Instagram, WhatsApp, so many, right?
Yeah. They have most of it.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have Viber as well? No.
I know, it's interesting. I think Viber was actually Belarusian, which is a coincidence because I'm wearing the Belarusian flag today.
Look at that.
And that's where I was yesterday, actually. Yesterday morning, I woke up in Belarus.
Wow.
And I was told by someone there that Viber was Belarusian. And a lot of people there use only Viber and they don't use WhatsApp for messages, for example.
Yeah.
So that was something new I learned.
Patriotic. It's like we stick to our own product.
Mm-hmm. And WhatsApp was actually by a Ukrainian founder, a Ukrainian guy in the US who sold it to Facebook. Brian Acton, I think was his name, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's a few years ago, right? Hello, welcome back to the Expat Experience. We have
Raghav or
Raghav?
Rag? Rag works just as well.
Yeah, it's just I have a problem with pronunciation today. Raghav is from India. He was born in India but lived most of your time in the US.
I lived for about 6 to 7 years in the US.
6 to 7 years, okay.
But I also lived in several other places while growing up. Lived in the UK for a couple of years. Lived down under in Australia for a year as well, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and then a couple of other places in Europe. But now Budapest is home.
For how long, since how long is Budapest your home?
For the last year or so at this point. Yeah,
Okay.
I travel a lot for work, so off and on, 2 months on, 2 months off, 1 month on, 3 months off, 3 months on, kind of like this.
Look
but,
at that.
But yeah, I really enjoy living in Hungary and in Budapest.
Yeah, but you're pretty fresh then, 1 year.
It's not the first time I came here.
Okay.
I had visited before. The first time I visited was in 2014. I was here for a month or so in August 2014. Absolutely loved the place. Still had a university degree to complete in the US though, so I had to go back and eventually found my way back.
What made you come visit? With friends or just curiosity or business? Or
Well, some of my best friends actually are Hungarian and I met them while I was in the US.
Okay.
When I was at my university, I was at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. I was leading this program called the International Exchange Program. So we would have exchange students from all over the world, including from Corvinus in Budapest, actually also Lund University in Sweden. And some of the guys and girls that I really clicked along really well with and I gelled with happened to be Hungarian, kept up the friendships, kept on texting and eventually visited them, fell in love with their city, and here I am.
Yeah, it's a great city actually. For many reasons, it's beautiful, and I think it's good for projects, for business, for like if you have.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about the city is that there's always some action happening. I live in the 7th district, so right in the heart of the city center, and I can step out and walk in any direction and stumble upon some event that's happening. Could be a concert, could be some sort of party, could be some market or some educational interactive experience, escape games, virtual reality, you name it. There's always like something happening, and I really enjoy that, especially as an extrovert, who likes to meet people. It's really, really nice.
And if you compare it to all the other places you lived,
actually, believe it or not, this is the smallest place that I've lived in, because the previous cities that I lived for a long time include places like London, Los Angeles, New Delhi, and these are like, exponentially bigger cities.
Definitely.
But I like this more because of the fact that all the action is condensed around me in the center. These other cities are more like cluster of different neighborhoods.
Yeah,
you
it's a
know.
bit more anonymous.
Yeah,
kind of.
I think so. But over here, you still have the whole multicultural thing going, that you have, you hear just as much English and then also Spanish, German, Italian, French as a polyglot. I love that. Obviously, in addition to Hungarian. So you meet people from all different places, which is great, just like these other cities. But at the same time, everything is close by and you can walk here and there
Yeah.
and get wherever you want, which you cannot in other places. When I was
Yeah.
living in London, getting from one end of the city to visit my cousins in the other end of the city sometimes took me like 45 minutes.
Yeah,
So-
and going like back and forth to work is like it's time consuming in such a big city.
Thankfully, in my case, I work from my computer.
Yeah.
So my office is basically my desk and in my house, so it's not that much of an issue work-wise. But in other scenarios when you want to go out and be social and meet people and stuff, it's nice to be able to just be able to walk everywhere, or like even if you take public transport, get there within 5, 10, 15 minutes.
For me, it's always like it's a maximum 20 minutes here. Wherever you want to go, it feels like it's 20 minutes is the maximum, and that's kind of, you can afford it.
And I also really enjoy the contrast between Pest and Buda. So I really like how relaxed and the lifestyle is a bit more, for lack of a better word, chill in Buda, and a bit more action in Pest. So
Yeah.
you can always take a break by just, crossing a bridge.
Yeah, just go to the other side. So what brought you to Budapest this time?
So last year, funny story, I actually was living in Australia before that, and I decided that I want to move to Europe. My work is flexible since I run a few websites from my computer, so I did have that flexibility of moving to Europe. And I said that I'm going to choose between 4 cities that I really like in Europe: Budapest, Prague, Krakow, and Berlin. Those were the 4 that I was choosing between. And it was supposed to be a week each in all 4. And the first week was in Budapest. Enjoyed it so much that I decided to skip Prague and do the second week here. Enjoyed it even more, skipped Krakow, did the 3rd week here. By the end of that, I was like, okay, this is where I'm living. I just like it too much. My existing Hungarian friends introduced me to their friends. I met a lot of new people, expats and locals both, and just got along so well with them. So yeah, that's kind of what just made me stay here.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a wise choice. If you just continue to stay and stay and stay, that means something. You don't have to go and check everything else if you actually find yourself enjoying where you are.
Yeah, and I'm the sort of person that likes to explore the city as much as possible, and then once I've kind of seen everything, I want to move on to a different place, especially while I'm young in my 20s. But 1 year of being here and I don't want to leave. I just want to keep staying here, so I think that's special in itself and says something.
Yeah, definitely. So you say you work from home, you work from your computer, you run a few websites.
Yeah.
What's it all about? A few websites. It sounds so mysterious.
Yeah, so I'm running 5 different websites at the moment. The common feature between them is that they're all in the travel space.
Okay.
And to give you an example, one of my websites started off as an online student housing platform for international students. It evolved into a lot more. The website's called bestuniversityhousing.com.
Okay.
So that's a shameless plug, I guess. But bestuniversityhousing.com is it started off in online student housing, but now it's more of a travel concierge service.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we are linking people that are going to other countries or even to other cities within their countries with a lot of essential services that they need, ranging from accommodation. So accommodation could include apartments, houses, hotels, hostels,
anywhere you can sleep
Airbnbs.
and live.
Yeah, anywhere for short-term or long-term. We also help them open mobile bank accounts. So some fintech companies like financial technology companies like TransferWise, Revolut, Moniz, Monzo, N26, we help them get familiar with them and get set up on them. Also money transfer companies, because a lot of expats need to either send money back home or if they're students, receive funds from home. So companies like MoneyGram, Western Union, and a lot of the newer ones as well. We connect them with them to make their lives easier, help them choose between different SIM card providers, connect them with ride sharing apps like Uber, Taxify, Lyft, and also some new services like Lime for scooters or...
Yeah, so you keep updating.
Yeah.
As soon as there's something new in the city or something new available, you will...
Yeah.
And how do you, so it's a website, and then do you have personal contact, like customer service as
Yeah.
well? Yeah.
Yeah, we provide customer service through email, Skype, and WhatsApp. So we have a dedicated team which receives leads, I guess, of people that are traveling. They contact us through a whole variety of channels, through high schools, universities, language schools, flight schools, different companies that are having interns or relocating team members from other offices in other countries. So from a whole variety of places. And then we work with them one-on-one and kind of guide them through the different things that they would need in the country that they're going to, what is the better alternative for them to choose between, and kind of handhold them and act like a concierge.
So is it like a little bit like a personal analysis as well? Like you kind of feel the person and direct them into. I mean, some people wouldn't be interested in Lime, like riding scooters on.
Yeah, yeah. So we kind of have a chat with them, a one-on-one chat for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, understand exactly what their routine's going to be like. Are they going to be someone that's going to be working a 100-hour investment banking job, or are they going to be a language student that's going to maybe go to school a couple of hours a day and will have lots of time to do other things, and recommend them things based on that and link them to those services in that particular place that they're going to. Yeah.
Do you get like really weird requests sometimes, or like very strange questions?
Sometimes, but you're always surprised. If you want, I can tell you a couple of strange incidents that happened recently. We had this example of this lady who was supposed to be a student going from Saudi Arabia to the US, to Los Angeles actually, to study an English course. And we had everything arranged with the school to accept her and show her her place and things like that. And then one day when she is supposed to arrive, we get a call from the school saying that, so this person has arrived. I don't want to name her for privacy reasons, but she's arrived, and she's actually 8 months pregnant, and we were expecting a student and not somebody that is here who is about to give birth and with the host family that she's going to stay with. And
Surprise.
yeah, so that was an interesting one to deal with. We had another interesting scenario recently where we had a student from Bolivia go to New York City, and the landlord basically through us would collect a month's rent every month, but they decided to offer the student a direct deal excluding us and make it a much better price. So the student and the landlord agreed, and we didn't know about this, but one day we get a call from the student saying that, oh, I made this deal with the landlord, but now the bank has come and kicked both her and me out of the house because she failed to pay her mortgage.
Oops.
And she has no money to give back to me, so I'm stuck. And we're just like, what? This is like a big bomb that just drops on us from like nowhere.
Yeah.
So these kind of things are always, you can't prepare for them, but it's a challenge to like deal with them and somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you learn
put out
something
fires.
new every day, I guess.
Yeah.
So, do you have a specific countries that you operate in?
We're operating in most countries around the world. It's a global
Wow.
business. It's been around for almost 7 years now.
Wow.
So I started it when I was 18, sophomore, so second year of my university in the US.
Yeah.
7 years ago. And yeah, we've gone on to do a lot of newer things outside of this traditional business as well from the same company. So yeah.
So yeah, this is like your big baby, basically.
Yeah.
Do you
yeah,
have small? You have small babies also.
I do have small babies as well. A lot of them are, you can say they're in the incubator because they're very, very new. We're focusing on a lot of experiences. Something that I really like is providing people with a unique experience that they can cherish for a long time. And as part of that, actually, that was one of the reasons why I was in Belarus until yesterday, because we are launching a trio of new experiences for people to enjoy. And one of them is actually in Kenya, which is why I'm wearing this, because I was in Kenya last month.
No way.
And the third one is in Greenland. So what these experiences are putting people in environments that they would not be able to encounter in their day-to-day life and helping them learn something new out of it. So the one in Kenya actually is an experience to live with the Maasai tribe over there.
Okay.
And to see their ways of life, because they're decades, centuries behind us in terms of a lot of their customs and traditions. They're very primitive actually in many ways, but they're also very warm people and very nice people to be around.
And are they curious, or like, are they actually interested in, doing this collaboration and welcoming people?
Very much so, because they actually are really happy to show their culture to the outside world, and take them to their lands and show them the animals, the lions, cheetahs, not tigers, but rhinos, leopards, all kinds of big animals.
But how do you make these contacts? Like, I mean, you cannot just pick up the phone and call the tribe leader in Kenya, like, yo, man.
No, I actually went there last month and tried to figure out somebody that spoke English that could connect me with them. The son of the chief of the village that I went to was the only person there that spoke English, so I had a conversation with him about it, and decided that it would be a good fit. Similarly, did something in Greenland where we are providing a similar experience with the Inuit people. So to see how they're hunting and how they're living in their conditions, which is also very unique from someone from North America or Western Europe.
Yeah, for sure.
And the third one actually is in Belarus, which is to provide people with an experience of how life was in the USSR during the Second World War. So it's an experience where people can interact with the machinery and the artillery from that period, ride those tanks, use those guns, live in barracks, and eat in the military-style canteens. And we integrated a bunch of it with virtual reality as well. So
it came to my mind somehow that it's.
So an example could be people operating a tank from that era, and then popping the top off, getting up, putting on the headset, and then being in the middle of a battle from World War II. It can be like one example of how to integrate VR with the reality of like
the actual environment, but plus.
Yeah.
Like
another one is that there is a station in Minsk where we're hopefully going to be setting up this VR experience as part of this broader experience that people would see the station in real life, and then they'd put on the VR and see how the station looked when the Jews from Austria were being sent there in the 40s when it was under Nazi occupation between 1941 and 1944, and they can see like the conditions of how they got off the train at the station and how they were dealt with by
super important
the occupiers.
Kind of things to show and experience as well. Do you put a lot of effort into kind of thinking what people should see or know?
So we work with the historians, the local historians, and kind of try to get everything as unique as possible, especially the outfits that people are wearing and what the architecture was like. Try to go off of photos and photos that even if they're in black and white, and replicate them. And yeah, we have a couple of camps that are very interesting that are set up that mimic how life was in that time in a Soviet village, for example, in Belarus. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
But it sounds like a massive project, like massive.
It is. There's definitely a lot of groundwork to be put in over the next few months. But I suppose that's what makes it interesting, right? If it wasn't challenging and a big project, it probably wouldn't be as exciting.
Of course. Do you have a big team behind you, or?
We at the moment have a team of around 40 people that are working full time. And then we have several more people that are working part-time. A lot of them work remotely as a virtual team that are not in our offices in the US or our back office in India. But 40 people that are part of the core team.
And then do you have like other people who are also traveling on behalf of the company to check out places, or you are the guy who is doing that?
I enjoy doing that, so I like to do that.
So you wouldn't actually employ somebody else to do that?
Maybe at some point when I get bored of it, but I don't see that point happening anytime.
Yeah, probably you won't get bored, but maybe tired.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm 25. I have some energy, so
you still have some leftover power.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to. So you have a website for this and everything already?
Yes. So bestuniversityhousing.com is the main website.
Yeah.
And then we're going to embed the links that would redirect to these experiences on that website itself. So those should be up, I would say, at some point in October.
Oh, but that's soon.
Yeah.
So this service doesn't exist at the moment?
It exists in theory, but and we've started marketing it to a select group of travelers that we think would be great to do the pilot experiences with. Pilot experiences would be in the first part of 2020. But on a bigger scale, when we want to actually make it available for anybody to book from wherever, we're going to wait until the pilot experiences are over, get some feedback, see what we can improve upon. If anything goes wrong, which hopefully it won't, make sure we can avoid that. And yeah, then hopefully it should be something that can cater to a lot of people in the near future.
For sure. I think this was a very interesting topic. I'm super excited about it, and I would like to talk more about it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Maybe you should come back and talk more about it.
I would love to.
When the project proceeds, and we could have like a little series or something.
That would be great. I'd be
I
more than
love
happy
these
to do that.
like traveling and experiences, and just these kind of smart, like how you're actually trying to. It's not an experience, like for some adrenaline for 5 minutes. It's like.
Then I'm gonna say something that I was that I had just recently said as part of my speech last week at the Belarusian Parliament, actually, about millennials, people that are my age or a little bit older or younger, valuing experiences more than ever. A lot of my peers from university, for example, would rather spend the same money that they save on an exotic vacation or a couple of vacations in a year, as opposed to buying a fancier car or buying jewelry or designer brand clothes or shoes or accessories. And I think we're seeing a shift in that. People are really valuing these kind of things, new experiences a lot. And obviously, we're so well connected now with airlines and with communication channels that the world is really a village at this point.
Yeah, but there's also a need for professionals with connections that can help like smoothen the process, because you can sit in your house and you can be like, oh my god, I really want to go, I don't know, to Kenya or Tanzania but it's like there's a huge amount of money involved and a lot of research involved that sometimes some people would rather let other people do for them and just know that, okay, I will get a good experience.
And another benefit that they get out of it is that when they go back, they also have relationships back in their home cities because of the people that they've traveled with and had this unique bonding experience with. They've experienced something very unique with this other individual or these other individuals that have also experienced this, and that kind of also bonds people together and helps them hopefully create lifelong relationships, friendships.
I think it's super important that especially that people from the same country, for example, would go to another country, experience another culture, and as you say, bond with this, because we need to have more understanding about other ways of living, other types of cultures and people and everything. So I truly support this. I'm really passionate
very
about this, actually. We have exceeded our 15-minute limit, unfortunately.
I guess that means the conversation was interesting, so I'm glad we did that.
Definitely, and we should put the links of your website and a bit more information about your upcoming project.
Sure, it's bestuniversityhousing.com is the link, and we're actually always looking to get new motivated team members to work as trip leaders or to work as people helping us connect with new experiences in different departments that we're operational in different spaces. So people are more than welcome to get in contact using the website. Always nice to meet new people.
Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you as well.
I'm super happy that you came.
Thank you very much for having me.
So guys, we will see you again next week. Make sure to check out the website and get yourself informed about the new project, which I think is super interesting. So have a nice Wednesday and we will see you next week. Ciao.